Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm GhostPrime. I'm going to take a look at Leader Class Legacy Armada Megatron. And I found this guy at my local Walmart. I totally did not expect to see him this soon. My Pulse pre-order was for August. Kind of hope Prime's that way. I'm really looking forward to that Prime. But anyhow, this is the Armada Megatron. And yeah, I'm going to do some comparisons with the original in this video to see if this is something that maybe you'd want to pick up if you already have the original. And you want to check out the video if you don't have the original, just to see if this one's up to snuff for your collection. And remember to like and subscribe and all that. And without any further ado, let's get to the review. Transformers. All right, starting off how all good reviews should with the box. Now, the box art, it looks all right. I'm not particularly super fond of the box art. I think it gets the colors get kind of muddled with the purples and the blues and everything, the greens of the background. Also, he's super lanky in this. It doesn't look like that. He is actually a much bulkier character. So I'm not a super big fan of this box art. Also, it portrays the treads here on the shoulders as being able to move with the arms. That is not the case with this one. But there you have the front of the box. Here is the top of the box with the QR code. Now, this is not active yet, maybe because Hasbro doesn't intend for this to be out. I don't know, but it doesn't come to a page that has the stats. On the side, you have him in tank mode. Close-up of his face right there. On the other side is half of the Legacy poster. On the back, you have Armada Universe Megatron, robot mode, 23 steps to the tank. You also could take off his turret here and put it on his arm. And let's get this camera up a little bit. You can see right here, you can move the front around, the turret around to the front of the robot. So you could, that is his Evo Fusion, by the way. That is not Evo Fusion in the slightest. Maybe Tidal Wave will be coming out because he does that with the tidal wave connections. One can hope. Anyway, let's get this guy in the box. All right, so in the package, he actually comes in tank mode like this. This piece, for me, was floating around in the package. This is the barrel piece. It does come off. It is on I think it's a 5mm port. Also has a 5mm port in the barrel there. It is kind of rubbery plastic for some reason. They could have just made this hard plastic, but it just clips onto the front just like so. And here you have his tank. Now, the detail on this thing is amazing. It is really, really nice. It looks just like the original one. It has all the detail of the original. A little less paint here. I don't know why they just paint this all orange like on the original. But he has 5mm ports all over him, as he probably should. Right there. To the back. Side. I will be going over this with the original as well. Here's the bottom. So he does do a couple things. The turret does move I think it's not all the way around. It goes about to there. Thought it moved all the way around. Goes up like this. This piece here, go up, cannot move forward a little bit at all. It just goes straight up. And for some reason, could rotate. That's all that does. Those missiles there are non-firing. They stay in there. But it does roll really nice. Really, really very nicely. One thing I don't like is you can see how this kind of bends. However, the barrel is blast effect compatible, so you could get your blast effects and have him shooting. So that does look pretty cool. I like that a lot. Let's get some of the more detail on the top. As you can see, the Decepticon logo there, some of the silver accents, yellow accents, orange. These are painted, I believe they're painted black and silver. You see the treads right there. The head, which is the pinchers. So I've always liked the pinchers. Very bug-like, very cool. Feet on the back, very, very much like the original toy, which I do believe this was made off the toy. I'll get to that in the middle, in the robot and not the cartoon, and I'll show you why. So real quick, let's do a comparison with the original. So here we can see some of the changes, or I guess maybe not changes, but some of the things that they left out. So first off, you can see on the barrel is the spring. The barrel is also a completely different color. There's what I was talking about with the orange, that launching mechanism on the side there. Look, the only one part was orange. Definitely saving on paint cost there. But you do see some silver highlights where there's silver here. Not all of them, but most of them. There isn't on this side right here. Now this is opening. So this, as some people might know, flipped up so you could put mini-cons here. This does nothing. This is just stays like that. I thought this is one of the features I really like. I love just doing this. It's cool. It's fun to do. Some tactile feedback, you know. Here he is from the side. You can see some of the differences. There's silver here, little stripes over here, different color here, darker. I like the darker color. I think that looks nice. Overall, it's very similar. Now this doesn't do anything, or this does. It's actually very hard to do. This one pop out and open up. It's one of its gimmicks. Like I said before, this has no gimmicks. From the back, the other side, again, no gimmicks. This doesn't open. Where this does, it has a little claw. So, I mean, it's okay from the back and the side. Now, what I was talking about these. Oh, hate that. That's okay, no problem. Pops on. So that could only go up like that, where this one has this mechanism. Let me get the mini-con to unlock the power. If I can get that in there. See? It goes like that. Now, I don't have the batteries in this. This does make lights and sounds. But this could kind of shoot forward, like it's launching, like arcing these missiles. This is just going straight up and right back down on them. So, yeah, there's that. You know, and then there's this. This is really cool, too. Also, the barrel has that spring. Shoots a missile, which I'm going to eventually lose if I keep doing that. But that's cool. This does none of that. Nor does it come with a mini-con. However, these are 5mm compatible. So you can actually take a little arm. If I could get that in, mine are very loose. See if I can get them in this one. It's super. We'll get some more leverage here. There we go. So you can kind of mount the original Leader 1 onto Megatron here, which is it's cool. I can't get it to fit in all the holes, but you know, that happens. Size comparison wise, there he is to a deluxe. So, you know, he's big. I don't know if Leader class is the right class for it. And to get into transformation, it's a really easy transformation on this guy. He actually transforms very similar to the original, which is something I appreciate. If you want to start by opening up these little tabs on the legs right here, and then the legs just come like this. Fold that in. Same on the other side. Make sure that tab's undone. There's a tab here too. And pull that out and around. Close the panel up. Then take the waist, turn it all the way around. The feet. Now these are actually really tough. There we go. In front of the feet and the heel spurs. Like that. Then this is different. We take these little pieces here. And this I think is kind of unnecessary. We take this here. I think they're just trying to make more parts count. We get the black pieces there. And then take the arms. Move them down like this. Now these don't lock in place at all. I see it like that. That around. There we go. So these will come off if you hit them. They just friction right back in. I will show you that in a second. So go ahead and take on either side. Flaps open just like the original. Close it. Unlike the original, his hands can fold out, leaving a gap here. Same on this side. That up. Bring the arm out and around. You may notice that. I'll come back to it. And flips open. Now you take the chest here. Instead of this being a little pull down for the face shield, you take the whole chest piece and open it up, bend that around, and that reveals the face. Speaking of face, since we're here, let's get in on that. I think the paintwork is done pretty well. The mouth looks very low and very wide to me. If you look at the cartoon, it does not quite look like that. Or the toy. So it's an interesting take on that face. I don't mind it too much. I just don't think it looks exactly like the character. And he's also missing a Decepticon logo there. Maybe Toy Hacks could be to the rescue on that one. For his cannon, you go ahead and just move that around. You could kind of do it one of either way. You could have it like this, or you could take it, which is what I like to do, and put it by his side, just like so. And then you can stand him up. And you have him in robot mode. Now, he looks pretty good, and one of the reasons, I'll get into it right now, the reason I say that it takes after the toy and not the cartoon is because the hips here, or the thighs, are not green like in the cartoon. There's a couple of color choices here. Also, this being looking like a sliding mechanism is something of the toy, not the cartoon. And even though his hand in the cartoon was a kind of have a like spiked finger hand, whatever you want to call it, they actually kind of replicated the place where the pins went to the fists on the toy. And he doesn't have his shank at all either in this hand. And so that's something that would have been really cool to have. There's really no accessories he comes with at all, save for this, which, as I mentioned earlier about these little pegs, on either side, you can do this. Not something I ever remembered him having. But I guess it's there if that is something that you feel inclined to do. So let's do some articulation before we get into the verses a little bit. So articulation, these don't move. These do move like this. They don't move back and forth. His shoulders can move out that far. Flaps come up like this, and then his hands can move forward. So it cannot do 360. You can only about 90 degrees for his arm up and around. He does have a little more 90 at the elbow, 360 bicep. He does have swivel at the wrists. His head, I think it's on a ball joint. Moves all the way around, turns all the way around. These will pop off, but as you can see, they have two little pegs there. So if they do pop off, they're actually very simple to get back on. This apparently giving me trouble on camera. There we go. He does have waist, which you saw during transformation. His hips go about this far. 360 at the thigh. 90 degree at the knee. And these are tight. There we go. He has ankle pivots. I do like how they made this little extra detailing in there. I think that's really cool to make it look like he actually can move this instead of just blocks. So that's cool. I think that's a good little part of design. I think that's really, really cool. Oh, he can go about this far. I think it goes pretty far up. So his legs are pretty posable, as where the originals were not in the slightest. So let's get into the comparison with that original. And here's the original. So you can see the original is bigger. But paintwork wise, I think it's really nice. They got a lighter shade of purple, almost the same green. These pieces here, these oranges are a lot less bright. I do like the antlers on this rather than this one. These ones are supposed to pinch though a little bit, so they move. Overall, I think the color scheme is right on par. You can see the thighs, this is what I was talking about here and here, not green. I'm not sure if the Japanese one of these did have green. It may have. But the detail, the legs and silver, feet, the tops being black, all that detail is present. I think what's even really cool is the arms here are both all similar detail on either side. This one actually has a little bit more detail. It's a little inner workings, but it'd be nice if you could see it right there, right there. So this is a much more purple. This one's a more blue purple. One thing I never liked was the Decepticon logos on this one because it doesn't actually have the eyes. There's all this a big splotch of paint. The Japanese one, I do know that actually painted just the top of it, so it had to look like the logo. These actually are nice, but with this, you do get nice ratchets, and I like him moving the whole thing rather than just the arm. I know there's the, I don't know, MMC or whatever other one it is that's out there that is also like that, where just the arms move, and it just looks weird to me. Maybe I'm used to this. That was my first introduction to it. But there they are from the side and the back. Now, I wouldn't say this one is updated from this one. I say it's a homage. And the reason I say it's a homage is because everything's really there. It has less gimmicks and everything. It's definitely a modern take on a figure. This has much more playability, where this one is much more like posable, and I guess I won't call it more adult-centric, but something you would think of as a collectible today rather than this, which is more of a toy. Let's get in close and see, compare the face sculpts. If I get my camera to cooperate, so you can see that face sculpt is very robotic, which is not indicative of the character in the cartoon at all. And then you have this one, which I showed earlier. Again, there's the Decepticon logo in the little, little part on his chest. See the asymmetric detail on his chest, which is represented nicely in this one. All the detail on the chest and the pelvis area, or the abdomen and the pelvis area, is there, along with the legs. Take a little bit of license on the arrows there, but I like it. I think it looks really good. There's the leg comparison there and there. So I get this closer. My camera is just not very, I don't get a very wide angle, but very cool. And as you could definitely see, these, while not loose, they don't really stay up. So if you want to move the arm, that's irritating. I wish they locked in place. So as you can see, this is actually an homage to this one. It does a lot more of a modern figure, where this is definitely more of a toy. A lot of gimmicks, a lot of playability. This is more like pose it and leave it. It's just sort of that type of thing. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you already have this one in your collection, would you get this one? That's the question, right? And if you already have this one and you have another one, the only other transformable version they made, which is this guy, might be a no-brainer to pick him up, because then you just have a whole bunch of them. I love him. He's cool, but it's not Armada Megatron. And here he is with Generation 2 Leader Class Optimus Prime, so you get a good idea of a modern sense of scale. So you can see this guy's Leader Class, Leader Class price point. One thing I will note that he did come with a trailer. So I think this is rather expensive for what you're getting. If this had accessories, I would definitely be able to recommend it more. But because there's no accessories, I think that sort of, I don't know, it makes it harder to recommend for me, especially considering the price point of this one was about what the price point of the original was, adjusted for inflation. Anyway, on to some final thoughts. So as a whole, this is a great homage to the original, and I say it's an homage. It really is a homage. It has much better articulation, and it poses all right. And by say much better articulation, it has articulation. It has zero gimmicks, none. Not really any accessories. All those things actually kind of mark it down in my book. If you have the original was a super fun toy. I would just say just keep that. Unless you want to have one that's posed in a battle scene, this is one for you. Otherwise, it's a little smaller, no gimmicks, better articulation. Anyway, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next review.